This is the secret of all secret. There's so much knowledge, so much wisdom about so many things, but the highest is what is God. Every time there's a car chase, is anything happening to the screen? No. Are those things that are projected on the screen real? In the space of mind, less effort, letting go, calming down, that is required, isn't it? And in Chidakash, in the space of consciousness, there's just love. There's just presence, isness. Nothing is required. We're at chapter 9 of Bhagavad Gita. We already did the first 3 verses the last time. But Mala, I think it's good if you just chant it and we start at the beginning, okay?
Shri Bhagavanuvacha Idantu te guhyatamam pravakshyamyanasuyave Jnanam vijnana sahitam yajñātvā mokshyase shubhat Raja vidya raja guhyam pavitram idamuttamam Pratyakshavāgamam dharmyam susukham kartum avyayam ashradadhana purusha dharmasyasya parantapa aprapya mam nivartante mrityu samsara vartmani maya tatamidam sarvam jagad अव्यक्तमूर्तिना मत्स्थानि सर्वभूतानि न चाहं तेष्वस्थितः न च मत्स्थानि भूतानि पश्य मे योगमैश्वरम् भूतभृन्न च भूतस्थो ममात्मा भूतभावनः
Just a quick reminder, remember, we sort of discussed that this is the royal secret. We've already had 8 chapters. Chapter 2 gave the highest of knowledge. And then based on how much Arjuna absorbs, where Arjuna is, Lord Krishna starts to take away one argument at a time, right? Arjuna has been trying to get out. But this chapter, because Lord is giving this highest of secret, one can come to this place that now Arjuna is tired of his own questions. He's given up. The intellect is starting to melt. He's no longer trying to avoid, but now he's finally becoming ready to listen. So if you remember in verse 1, Sri Bhagavan said, to you, he's speaking to Arjuna, to you who are devoid of the carping spirit, meaning one that's complaining. He does not have this spirit. He does not see fault. When can you not see fault? When the intellect has gone quiet, right? That is why I say now Arjuna is now at a different place. It's the first time Lord Krishna is addressing him this way. He's starting to go into faith. He's starting to go into his heart and just be in the presence of, receive rather than debate, because he already has a preset argument of where he wants to go. That was clear. Remember? That was the first verse. Asuya and Anasuya is what we had discussed, I think, 3 weeks ago. And then verse number 2, he talks about Nirguna, divinity, form, and formless divinities. The Lord Krishna says, this is a science. This is the secret of all secret. There's so much knowledge, so much wisdom about so many things, but the highest is what is God. I'm simplifying, just for us to remember, right? And then the third verse, Arjuna, people having no faith in this dharma, failing to reach me, continue to revolve in the path of the world of birth and death. So again, the notion of faith has come back. When there's no faith, when there's it, because buddhi cannot take us anywhere. It can take us just so far. No, we are here, we're discussing, we're looking into it, digging into it. and it has certain amount of value. Maybe it creates a little bit of opening. Oh, because in this day and age, the buddhi is very, very active. Intellect is very active, isn't it? We process anything and everything through it. So it has to also find its way to being quiet. But ultimately, one has to move towards faith. So those are more or less the first three verses. Yes? And then last week, you probably heard the rest of whatever the video was for Gurudev. I did not have a chance to go and listen. So let's just start with verse number 4 and see where it goes. Yeah. Verse 4, chapter 9. The whole of this universe is permeated by me as unmanifest divinity, like ice by water, and all beings dwell on the idea within me. But really speaking, I am not present in them. Doesn't this sound familiar? Similar to some of the verses in chapter 2. Yes, we sort of did as much as we could to dig into it and pull it apart. Let me read number 5 and then we discuss a little bit. Verse 5, nay, all those beings abide not in me, but behold the wonderful power of my divine yoga, though the sustainer and creator of beings, myself in reality dwell not in those beings. So it's 3 steps, right? You heard 3 steps? Did you hear 3 steps? First step is what? The whole of this universe is permeated by me, the unseen me. All the universe is penetrated by me. Step 1. Yes? And probably you would have heard Gurudev saying, I am in this, I am in that, I am everything, animate, inanimate, plants, animals, creatures, humans, stars, everything is permeated by who? Not Krishna, but who? Paramatma. He's talking as the divine force, not the embodied Krishna. Not that the two are different, but it's important to understand and again remember that the Lord himself is speaking as Paramatma, as the divine force. I am permeated in everything. This much we are clear about, no? But then he takes it away. Look what he says. But really speaking, I'm not present in them. Doesn't that sound like a contradiction? At least it sounds like a contradiction to me. I am in everything, but really, that's not true, Arjun. He gives him the first step. Anything and everything is me. And then, I don't know, but you know what, Arjun? Psst, not true. Really speaking, I am not present in them. Okay, what do you hear when you hear this? Come on, you have heard this in so many ways. So you now give a little commentary. What are the two things saying? I'm in everything? Oh, no, 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 no. That's not true, Arjuna. I'm not present in them.
What I'm hearing is just like the energy, the light from the sun comes and it looks illuminated, but it's not really, it's just a reflection of that. That's
Okay,
one way.
I'll use the word reflection for now. Let's keep it there. Okay. Anybody else?
Because this whole creation is an idea, not
This
real.
is the word. He uses the word idea, right? In that, I mean, I'm assuming the translation of course, I don't have that advantage. But if you look, he does say, like ice by water, and all beings dwell on the idea within me. So, okay, maybe he's keep going. Pramod, finish your thought.
That's, I mean, since it's an idea, it's
Whose idea?
Paramatma's idea,
Parma.
or what you call dream. let's say the world came into existence because of Vishnu dreaming, Lord, the Lord dreaming, or the whole world is a dream and not a reality.
Okay. But
So,
I mean, I do feel this glass, right? It is here and there is water. So what else? Everybody participate in this, this is not somewhere where you get an answer. It's somewhere where you contemplate, right? You have to dig a little bit. Don't just listen passively. So go ahead, somebody. Okay, let's start. Okay, like there's a pot in front of me, right? There's a pot. What is it made up of? Clay. Yes, clay. Is the pot in the clay or is the clay in the pot? It's a good question. Actually, that's the answer. Sometimes it comes through without trying. Pot, there's a pot right in front of me. I'm looking at it. It's made up of clay. Actually, to be honest, there's a smaller pot, a bigger pot. One is round, one is kind of square, and one is just a little bit of a cup. There's like 3 different pots there. Are all those pots made out of clay? Yes, they are. Or ceramic, but let's just say clay, okay? They're all made out of clay. Is the clay in the pot?
The pot is the clay, like we are all the divine. So he can't be in us because we are it.
Yes.
Yes, pot is clay.
So pot is clay, but does the pot really exist?
Yes.
It exists as an idea.
Yeah, it's you see it has name, it has form, and it has function. But actually it's just clay called in that a pot. But it's just clay. Now, understand something. The pot is in the clay. Like the wave is in the water or in the ocean. Yes? But the ocean is not in the wave, is it? Is it? The wave is in the water, in the ocean. Is the ocean in the wave?
The wave is the ocean.
At one level, the wave is the ocean. But we're just looking at these 2 verses for now. I think the 3rd verse, when you get to verse number 5, or the 3rd step, I should say, is where you already are, Vicky. But we mustn't skip the steps, right? You mustn't try to hold on to it straight away. First, understand something. The pot is in the clay, but the clay is not in the pot. Lord Krishna says the clay, let's assume Lord Krishna is speaking as the clay. I am permeated in all of the pot, the existence being pot. Every portion of me is permeated, me the clay in the pot. But however, Arjuna, it is not in me. The clay and the pot, do you understand what I just said? The pot is not in the clay, the clay is not in the pot. Pot is in the clay. It's permeated. The clay is permeated in the whole of the thing. Right? The clay is permeated throughout the whole existence of the pot. Step number 1. But in fact, I am not, what is that? How does he say exactly? I am not present in them. There is no pot. There's just clay. There's just clay. There is no pot. It is name, form, and function.
It's name, form, and function over a limited period of time, right? It's just, I think that's the important distinction. It's just a
Yeah, I mean, it could break.
yeah.
Listen, the pot can break. Can the clay break? Can anything happen to the clay if the pot breaks?
No.
No. If I put water in the pot, something happens to the pot, correct?
Yeah.
It gets full, it's half full, something happens to the pot. The clay, it still remains as the substance that is permeated in a thing called the pot.
So it's kind of like the clay can exist without the pot can not exist without the clay, but the clay exists without the pot
By
as well.
itself. Remember, we spoke about this. There is a dependency. The clay can exist on its own and does exist on its own, but the pot has a dependency upon the clay. It cannot exist without the clay. Yes? It can't exist without the clay. It can be different shapes. Like I said, there's a square one, there's a round one, there's just one that sort of looks like a glass, different shapes, different sizes. One is yellow, one is red, one is brown. Like all of us, no? Different shapes, different size, form, function, and name. These are different. But the substratum, our existence, we are walking around thinking we are a separate individual being. Yes or no? We think we have our own existence. If the pot says, I have my own existence, I created myself, I'm by myself, the clay lets you think that, but the reality is you don't exist without me, buddy. That's what the clay would say if it was talking. Like this, we think there's a me, there's a Rajshree, and there's a Nandan, and there's a, Alex, individual, separate things, but it is not the case. There is an appearance that there is in form and in function and in name. But everything is God. Everything is permeated by that one thing. Even that form, it's saying, is God. But look at what verse number 5 said. Nay, then he says, no, not to those two also. Look at what Lord Krishna says. First he says, the whole of the universe is permeated by me. The unmanifest divinity. And then he says, oh no, but I'm not present in them. Then, no, Arjuna. Even that, no, Arjuna. All those beings abide not in me, but behold the wonderful power of my divine yoga. Though the sustainer and the creator of beings, myself in reality dwell not in those beings. Why not? That is where, Vicky, you come in. If there is the unmanifest divinity, and then we say he created the universe, then what is there? Two. But the first sentence is, I'm in everything. There is no two. There is an appearance that this all exists. We cannot say it does not exist. What we can say is it's mithya. It has falsehood to it. Like the jewelry is another example that we know is often used in this description. You have ornaments made of gold. Does the ornament exist in the gold? Yes. Right? Like the tree exists in the seed. In that sense. Does the gold exist in the ornament? No, it's just gold. Called a necklace, called an earring, called a bracelet, called whatever you want to call it. Are we clear? Look, this is not a, it's like a riddle. You know how there are certain koans, the riddles, where there's no answer. Some riddles, you eventually have an answer. But then there are these koans, certain riddles, they don't have an answer. Why not? Because the mystery of life does not have an answer like that. The buddhi intellect cannot reach it. You can only live it. Are you hearing what I'm saying? You can't. So it is like that. It's like a riddle. It's asking you, and listen, first requirement was faith. Wonder. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. Remember, we used to talk about it from the perspective. Another example is the dream, the dreamer, and the objects in the dream. Right? I'm having a dream. Elephants are flying, and I'm riding on one. And then suddenly I come across a giraffe that's flying, and you guys have giraffes, and then I want a giraffe. So then I go into battle and go get a giraffe. Is that real? Well, yes, while you're dreaming, it's very real to you. But it has falsehood to it, mithya. That is the word that is used, if you remember in chapter 2, mithya. Falsehood, or a dependency upon what is truth for it to exist. The dreamer must exist for the dream and the objects of the dream to be there. And the objects in the dream is who? Is also the dreamer. They take on all those roles. It's not like if I dream and Supriya is in my dream, Supriya comes and crawls into my head and no, I take on the character of Supriya in my dream. Yes, I, the dreamer, the creator. Though the creator, I am not in any, I am the creator. And I dream, Supriya and all of you, and we're doing this, or we're going for a walk. Let's go meet for a weekend, have a holiday, whoever wants to come, and we're hiking and all that. I create. I'm the creator. Though the creator, look what he says, though the sustainer and the creator of beings, myself in reality dwell not in any of those. So is the dreamer really in there? No, the Supriya, the Raul, the Galina, no. Yet I have created all of them, and that's very real. It's mithya. There's a falsehood. Existence of those dream characters have a dependency upon the dreamer, me, divine, Lord Krishna. That is what is being said here. No, the other example we have used is projecting a movie. There is a screen and something is projected on the screen, a movie. And what happens? Things blow up, people fight, it's beautiful gardens, it rains, people cry in the movie, people laugh in the movie. Every time some explosion happens, every time there's a car chase, is anything happening to the screen? No. Are those things that are projected on the screen real? Do they exist? Well, they do exist because you're watching it and you are having an experience, but it's false. Mithya. It's an illusion. It is not necessarily isness, existence. It is not actually existence. It's a projected existence, falsehood. Nothing happens to the screen. The screen doesn't blow up. Right? It doesn't burn, it doesn't get wet even though it's raining, and though the characters cry and everything happens as in a dream, it happens on the screen. Nothing happens to the dreamer, nothing happens to the screen. Are you seeing this? I mean, I suppose, well, if assume Arjuna's intellect was active, or if I was sitting there and say, well, Lord Krishna, I get it, but how does that help me? I'm still sitting, like, how does it help me? I feel awe, and I can have faith that whatever you say is so. And yes, I do get the example, the pot and the clay and the screen and the projected and the dream and the dreamer, but beyond that, Everything else, I don't see, I see it as what it is, right? I mean, leave aside that faith part. That's why I said, I assume Rajshree is there, Arjun is better. So I would be sitting there going, okay, but how does that help me? How do I get there? How do I see, behind everything, the clay? Because I see a pot and I see its usefulness, and I see I can put flowers in it. Oh, and the other one has paper clips in it. The one that's just long, just junk stored away. Oh, how much junk is stored in there? Yeah, I see it, but you want me to, but look a little further. Once you start see, the jeweler sees ornaments only as gold. He could care less. He does not see necklace and earring. He does not see that. He has gold in his drishti. Once that drishti is there, that this is all gold, then you only see gold. So even it's a gentle reminder. Look, it's a sattvic mind. Have you seen sometimes, well, okay, like this book is there. At least in India, you would never put a book on the floor. Is that correct? You don't put a book on the floor. And if you had to move it, you don't use your foot to move the book, or a newspaper for that matter, or some magazine. I don't just mean some scripture. You don't use your foot to move it aside. Actually, you don't use your foot to move anything aside. Is that true? Right? You don't do that. You pick it up and you place it properly. Your shoes, you place them properly. You don't throw them in the closet. So if you look at some level, at least just on the relative level, there's a sense of honor and respect for its functionality and its use and that form. Because if you take those shoes away, like in India, I had one pair of flip-flops, and if we ever left them like that, my grandmother would hide them sometimes, and then she would send you like 2 blocks over to say, Bena, go get whatever, a cup of sugar. We're out of sugar. So you run down and she gives you a little bowl, and then you're looking and you can't find your shoes. And then you can't say, bah, I don't know where my shoes are, because you know that this is a lesson, because I didn't put them properly, because it clicks in your head. So then you walk over. You understand? And your feet are feeling the difference between the shoes and the no shoes, the flippies and the no flippies. You do it, but you remember your shoes. Something else happens. You no longer see it just totally inanimate and useless or discarded. You honor. That is number one. Just hearing this idea, that everything is permeated by a divine force. Sometimes the remembrance comes. Honor comes. That is a sign of a sattvic mind. In there, some faith, some connection, some devotion can happen. This is very important. You will pick the book up and you will place it properly. I don't remember if this was true everywhere, but like the first day of school, before that, 1 week, something before, you get your books. And then those books go in the temple, and they put a flower, and you do some tikka, and some put like some om somewhere in the. Yes or no? Did you guys not do these things? I mean, we put a little om, and then there was this kind of leaf that looked like, and then we would take that and put that leaf in there. It was a very pretty leaf, and then someday you find it in there kind of dry, and it's like a little, very pretty, like very sacred geometry type of leaf that you put into the book. And there's a lot of honor with it, a lot of, and you open your first day like this. And do you remember that? Like you don't do that. You like properly turn the page, and when you want to write, and you get like little, you see, it gets inculcated in some way. When we grow up like that, and we keep honoring, then at some point, like the jeweler who only sees gold in ornaments, like that, we start to see more than what is. not just something to throw around, but we start to add life to it. Why we go to the ocean? I remember the first time coming to, so first time I went to the ocean was in India. I went to a place called Kambat Ocean. Never seen it. You know, I was like maybe 9 years old. Ocean, ocean. Oh, what is ocean? A lot of water. Oh, okay. Never saw it in a movie, didn't see movies. So we go to the ocean and you're like, wow. And you think it falls off, like you think it's a bowl, you know, and it's over full. And if it has too many waves, it's going to fall off. You remember all these kind of things in your head. Then you go and they say, okay, go. You can go in, but make sure you hold a person. You cannot just go by yourself. Okay. So the first thing you do, you go there and you stand at the edge and you pick up the water and you start something, you give it to the sun and you ask permission to step on it. Do you remember all these things? No. Yeah, no? Okay, maybe you saw the ocean before. I don't know. I'm not sure. But yeah, we would like you didn't in the old days see people swimming in the ocean in India, did you? People walked along, you know, and they would go like in the river halfway, and then they would offer the water and something like that because it's alive. You know, there is an energy to it. You know, you go in the water sometimes and the ocean feels very harsh. The waves feel harsh and like strong. And sometimes it's very calm and very gentle and very like calm. And sometimes wind also, you know, sometimes the wind is like, oh my God, she's not happy. And sometimes even it's the strong wind is very gentle. She just goes across, you know, she doesn't feel very like rah, like that. And like in Chinese, they have different words for different types of wind, isn't it? In Chinese medicine, some of you know this. And depending on the kind of wind, they give you those kinds of herbs. And certain wind gives you a allergy and certain because Lord is moving in that wind. No? So on the one hand, yeah, well, Krishna, what's it to me? You know, yeah, I get it, but I don't see it. But we never dig deep. We just look at the surface and we don't look any further. No? The ocean says the river is in me, but the river cannot say the ocean is in me. You see? But we just, no, okay. We never really look like, wow, these water is water in the river and in the ocean. That's a different story. And we are stuck in the name, the form, and the function. There's a word for it in Vyavhara, like they use 3 specific words. I remember they're talking about it. But we are stuck in these 3 things. Oh, glass, you know, a cup. But we don't ever look at the material. We never really look past the surface. And slowly, as we hear this, then something opens up in us. Do you see? Number 6, Mala. Let's do maybe 2 more for now.
यथाकाशस्थितो नित्यं वायुः सर्वत्र गोमखान् तथा सर्वाणि भूतानि मत्स्थानीत्युपधारय सर्वभूतानि कौन्तेय प्रकृतिं यान्ति मामिकाम् कल्पक्षये पुनस्तानि कल्पादौ विसृजाम्यहम्.
Just as the extensive air, which is moving everywhere, being born of ether, ever remains in ether, likewise, know that all beings who have originated from my sankalpa abide in me. So now Lord Krishna gives an example, basically, like what we've been doing. No, what is the first sentence? What is step 1? I am in everything. Second step, oh yes, I'm in everything, but they are not present in me. The pot and the clay, conversation, the dream and the dreamer. The dream, it's there. It happens through him, with him. But that dream doesn't actually exist. It's mithya. It has a dependency. It appears to exist. No, it is not in existence. There is no isness to it. Like you remember I was talking about this in chapter 2, like the glass is, the pot is. Existence is given to it. So existence is first and the pot is in it. The space is first and objects are in the space. We never look at the space, we only look at the objects. No, without the space, even the visibility of the object is not possible. You know, if you have a closet that's stuffed with all kinds of things, or a drawer, you see, I have no space in here. There's no space. You can't see anything. You need to pull the drawer out and pull everything out to be able to say, oh, I have this in here. So Lord Krishna gives an example. Just as the extensive air, which is moving everywhere, in space, air is moving and it has so many qualities. We were just talking about that. It just moves. Sometimes it's hot, sometimes it's cold, sometimes it's like a tornado, sometimes it's a storm of air. Does anything happen to the space? No, nothing. It's untouched. No? It ever remains in ether. Likewise, know that all beings who have originated from my sankalpa, look at verse 4 or verse 5. He says, oh, this all happens because of my maya, my divine power of yoga maya, if you want. It doesn't actually exist. The things that one is dreaming about is a projection. It's not two. There's only the dreamer there. There's nothing else. There's only the dreamer. It appears to be in existence, the dream. Are you still here? Yes? I mean, just the example of the dream. I don't know if you really ponder on it enough, you're like, yeah. When I'm dreaming, I think it's very real. Daydream, forget sleeping. Have you seen people daydream? You can see their whole face moving. I just see this a lot at airports. You know, they're like eyes closed or whatever. Sometimes their eyes are open and they're just thinking, and you see all of that, like they do the expressions. Nothing's happening. But if you say to them, they're gonna say like, yeah, a lot is happening. I'm thinking about these and these and these. Okay. It's not happening. It's just like on a movie. It's not happening. The movie screen is in here versus out there. And there's, you know, I'm fighting with my son. I'm thinking about my son, what he did, and my daughter, what she did, and my, you know, friend and my sevak who's, it's all in there. Nothing's happening. Actually, sometimes people daydream. It's happened to me. Maybe it's happened to you. You're daydreaming and you don't like where it went. This has happened. You don't like the direction it went. So then you like kind of erase it in your head, like, no. And then you try to make it go in another direction. Have you done that? Anybody done that? Yeah, see? But then the damn thing doesn't go there. You can't, you're trying to make it go in a way that you want, like somehow because daydream, it's propelling on its own. Do you understand? Even the daydream. You started off, some idea comes, some quote, idea comes, and then that idea starts to get elaborate. Just like you and I, you know, some idea, and it got elaborate, bigger. And it's just growing on its own. It's just moving along, you know, like that. That same macrocosm that I'm describing, we have had an experience of in microcosm. You sit there and some idea pops in your head and then you start to go with it. And then it's just going. You're not even, a little part of you is aware that you're daydreaming. Yes or no? Little part of you is like, oh, this is going. if you kind of try to stop it, it also doesn't stop because it's like a ball that went down the hill. Yes? Kind of has a life of its own. Are you hearing what I'm saying? And then I have noticed it goes in another, I'm like, dang, I don't want, no. What the hell? What? No. I'm the dream. I don't want, no. So then in my mind, at least, I kind of erase it. You know, like there's a little feeling of, no, start over. So I go back to wherever I was, and maybe it stops there. No, and I'm trying, like efforting for it to go this way, but it goes exactly back where it was. And maybe I do that 2-3 times. I don't have this lot now, but when I was much younger, these things would happen very clearly for me, you know, very, very clearly. And I would, not that way, this, like even a case, I would be, you know, I have a big case and I start to pick up the pieces. I've been looking at the photo, and then it starts to go where the argument is. And I say something in the courtroom and the argument. You shouldn't have said that because that gave it away to, and I can't get rid of it. Do you understand? This is what I mean by it's an unfolding of the divine, the hidden powers of the divine. Can you get what I'm saying? It's so amazing if we just, because in the end, it's exactly what Vicky said, the clay, the pot, everything is one. There is no two. There is no two, you know, yet somehow we're so habituated that we only see objects as separate things, people as separate things. We never see the net that's weaving everything together. And then, oh, yeah, oh, I'm just that daydream and it's just going. Nobody can even erase it. Well, okay, at some point it'll get erased and some other character will come in. I'll go take a different character somewhere. But this is fascinating. If you just, yeah, Vicky, go ahead. I think you have your hand up, please.
So on the New Year's Eve talk that Gurudev gave, he said that science says the mind isn't thinking thoughts, it's only receiving thoughts. The thought has its own field. So whatever is your frequency, it keeps receiving those thoughts. There's an algorithm.
Yes.
And I've been spinning on this since he said it. And what you're saying here is it's like unfolding of the divine. So there's all these things floating around out there, and we're like these little satellite dishes that keeps pulling them in or receiving them. So that's pretty trippy.
Yes, but you have to remember one thing. As long as the jeweler sees gold in all the ornaments, we're fine. But we don't see just gold. We see transaction. We see necklace and earrings and ring and bracelet. When we are operating in name, form, and function as our identity, then it becomes exactly what Gurudev said. We receive other name, form, identity, thought waves, if you want. Do you understand? It because he's talking to an Arjuna, meaning us. We are not the jeweler. He's talking to the person consuming the jewelry. You know, I want these, I want the gold. So then that's what happens. Remember, there's 3 types of space, right? There's the physical space, which we know this conversation already, in which measurable objects exist. And those objects are not solid. As much as they appear to be solid, they're also vibrating at certain resonance, certain frequency, correct? They appear not to be mobile, but that is actually not the case at all. They are mobile. Notice this is the jeweler seeing gold, what we are discussing. If you just see solid, you will kick the book. But if you see something more in the book, you will not kick the book. You will pick it up, right? So that drishti, that perspective is important. But then mind is not in the physical space. It has its own field, mind field. It has its own space. Chit, Akash. It's called Akash meaning space, Chitta meaning mind. And the field or the space of mind is thousands times bigger than the physical space. And how big is the physical space? You go out into the cosmos, into space. There's so much space, physical. Bigger than that is the mind, the space of mind. Yes? Think about it. All that is in the physical world and the space you can take in the mind. It's a projection of the mind. That's how big the mind space is. Are you with me? But then there is a bigger space, even bigger than the mind. What? Chid Akash. Space, the consciousness. Within which the mind and within which the physical space erupt and subside, erupt and subside. The dreamer's space is far bigger than the physical space in which the dreamer is sleeping, isn't it? I go to sleep 3 by 6. Okay, I have a king size bed. It's a bit bigger. Then, but what I dream up the whole universe in my head. Billion people could be sitting in there. And there's space. You feel the space. It's not like you're squeezing yourself into 3 by 6 in your head with all those people. No. Beyond that is consciousness. Chidakash. See if you have a big circle, right? And in that big circle, you put a small circle. Is the small circle in the big circle? Yes. Is the big circle in the small circle? No. Yet it's a part of it. Right? If I have a circle and then another circle, and who we are is the circle that contains all of it. So what Gurudev is speaking to, Vicky, is the mind, where we are limited in our identity and not the jeweler that sees gold in everything. Kushpinder, go.
Didi, when you talked about the 3 kinds of space, is it also the same thing when we talk about the physical body, the causal body, and the subtle body? The mind exists in the subtle body space, the body is it's the physical body, and the causal body is the entire consciousness.
Well, yeah, like your physical body is in the physical space, correct? But your mind is not in some little corner somewhere. It's everywhere. It's outside the realm of physicality. Yes?
So the mind would be, so that like when we talk about the 3, we have 3 bodies.
But mind is more than just your individual impressions. You see, that's why I'm not answering you directly. Subtle body is your impressions in that subtle body. But the field, the space of mind is far bigger than just your impressions in your subtle body. Don't you see?
Got it.
Supriya, you had your hand up.
So, Didi, I was wondering, we are saying
Your
that
face says it all. You're like, oh, no. Go ahead. What you're wondering?
So then we are saying that, it's a projection, right? So the world, it's a projection, it's an illusion. And so I heard two different sentences. At some point we said it's a projection of the divine, and then also it's a projection of what is in our own mind, right? If we are like, I'm
But
trying
you
to
are the
understand.
project. Sometimes in the dream, there's another dream.
Yeah.
It's layers, that's all. But for conversation purposes, you have, because we speak in compartments, in division, right? So the dreamer has a dream, and in the dream, the dreamer is sleeping. And that dreamer in the dream that's sleeping has another dream. Do you see? There's just layers. It's all the same.
Yeah. It's like which level you are identified with. Maybe that's what you will say, right? To what degree you feel like, you are in.
Yeah,
What?
well, most of us are identified. Number one, I am this body. This
Yeah.
is there, right? For
Yeah.
all of us.
Yeah.
And I am also what I think and feel. This is also very strong, isn't it?
Yes.
Correct? So this is what Vicky was mentioning about Gurudev and the New Year's talk. Where your mind is at that moment is the experience that you go through. You know, if you're stuck in the physical realm, and a lot of people are, then everything around you is about how you look and what you have and what name brand you have and, how much you have. Everything is about that, right? You're stuck in the mind, good or bad, how much you know and how strong, your mind is and what you can do and what you think and all of that. Mind, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
People operate from there. Like, oh, I'm very smart and I'm a professor at such and such. And they give you that and you're just pulling your hair out because you can't relate mind to mind like that. You're in another place, right? So our perspective, I guess, in Sanskrit, they would say drishti. Sight is the literal translation, but I think you have to add the word perspective to it, you know? That is how we bring that upon us. And the rules of each of those space is different. In the physical world, effort and energy and push and all of that is required. In the space of mind, less effort, letting go, calming down, that is required, isn't it? And in Chid Akash, in the space of consciousness, there's just love. There's just presence, isness. Nothing is required. Maybe you understand it like that. Not effort, not effortlessness, but just beingness. And we move through all three things at any given day. And because the space, Chid Akash, the quality of Chid Akash is Sat, Chit, Anand, non-changing, blissful. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Energy. Then whenever our life force expresses that quality, then we have come very close to Chid Akash. We are abiding in that. And the quality of the mind is what? Tark vitark, debate, dialogue, break apart, judge, rejudge, give opposing arguments for the same exact thing, give different point of view. That's what the mind does,
Right.
isn't it?
Right.
So when you're in that place, that's what we keep doing. And to get out of that, to calm that space down, you need effortlessness. But what we do, we take in all three space one set of rules and we function. And this creates a headache for us. We try to effort in the mind. I'm trying to remember. I got to figure this out. I have to see how this works. I don't know. I can't let this go. Right?
Yeah.
One of the conversation that came up in the blessing course, another 3-4 minutes, was along this line, which is that we raise children to strengthen one faculty, right? Again and again, we have a form, a ball, an apple, a cat, A for apple, B for ball, C for cat, D for dog. Are you with me? So we take the form and we give it a name. What is this, sweetheart? Tell Raji Didi, what is this? Apple. Tell her what is this? Ball. Yeah, yay, ball. You get rewarded for name associated to form. And then what do? Stick it in the memory. Correct? Name, form, memory. And as we get a little older, we figure out the function. Apple, eat, in the memory. Ball, play, kick, throw, memory. Function, form. And then every time we come across that thing, we keep falling back onto the memory. We never gave them a chance to do something else with that apple. Perceive it as something else. Do something else with it other than eat it. Do you follow me? Until if you've only eaten raw apple and someone brings you a cooked apple, you'll be like, what the heck did you do? Because it doesn't fit in your memory. Yes or no? I can't believe, what is, ew. Haven't you ever had a cooked apple? My God, I don't know, maybe you go to the woods somewhere and they only eat the apple, eat it. Frozen apple. Can you imagine that? You're someone who's just grown up with apple trees and orchards around and never knew that somebody does that. Ball. Oh, ball. You bounce, you throw, you kick. And then you kick a ball like Guruji's like, what? Are you kicking a ball? Oh my goodness. He played with the ball but never thought of kicking the ball. If it doesn't fit in the form, the function, the label, and what's in the memory, we get tripped up when we face in front of something that's not been logged in. This is hard wiring. You know, I'm giving you a very simple example, but it's true for everything. If, you know, child is going to learn how to build blocks, you know, they have a puzzle, right? I was with somebody, Maitrik's daughter, and someone gave her a puzzle, Lego puzzle, and you have to look at the picture and then stick those things and create like a house or some such thing, you know? So I was just sitting there and she was playing, and then she would ask, is this right, Daddy? And then Dad would say, no, no, beta, it's this one. He's just helping, right? Lovingly playing. And then at some point I looked, because it happened a few times, so I gave him a little look like, what the heck are you doing? You know? So then she again asked, and I said, well, let's see. What do you think? You have to give it back to them. You know, so she has to fit a triangle in a particular way, and it's going this other way or this way. Keep doing it. But if you give her a triangle goes this way, that's all she can do. And if it doesn't fit the one time in the future, she's going to pause. Paralysis. I don't know what to do. I didn't know this. I'm giving you simple examples. But in everything, we correct them because we want to help them. But they have to figure it out. Patiently wait. Don't correct them because you have only one way of doing this thing and perceiving this thing, or 3 ways of perceiving this thing. Maybe that kid has like 10 ways of perceiving it because that mind is free. But oh, you're fixed, you know. C for cat, meow. No, sometimes cats make other weird noises. And there's all kinds of cats. And if you don't see a cheetah, you always see a little cat. You say, no, cats are like this. Mommy, I saw a cat. How was it black? No, cats are white, little fluffy. No, mommy, this was not like that. No, no, beta. Purple tree. No purple trees. Trees are green. See, we have trained our whole universe into the name, the form, and a label to the form. And this is the function for it. And that, oh my God, breakfast? You're eating what? Sambar for breakfast? It's food. Nobody eats sambar for breakfast. Okay, whatever. No, because your mind has been trained to eat it in the afternoon with idli. What are you doing? You're dipping toast in sambar? It's rice toast, if that helps you any, because idlis are made up of rice, you know. And it tweaks their brain. It's a silly little example, but don't you know people like that? They get tweaked. You know? What? you're eating what for breakfast? Oh my God, who told you that? Oh, okay, you're right. Go pull out your label and stick to it. This flexibility goes, malleability goes, the ability to perceive and pivot doesn't ever get developed. You see? So then the consciousness, the chid, the akash cannot pour through because it's very fixed. Sambar for lunch with idli, curd rice after, pickle. Oh, okay, whatever. Then you give it, because all the 5 spices are there, and Ayurvedically it's good for digestion. Okay, well, maybe it's good in the morning also. I could eat it. No, upma for breakfast. What the heck? Flexibility, malleability comes when you have been given room for yourself, or as you grow old, you allow something new to be perceived, not stick to this is how it must be. And that rigidity creates all the conflict. The more the rigidity, the more the violence, no? The stronger the conflict.
This reminds me of the box thing you said earlier. We have a tendency to put everything in boxes. If it doesn't agree, then
That's all we do. We are raised with billion boxes. And then, God forbid, something new comes out that's not in those billion, then you're like, Dad, I don't know what to do. What? I didn't learn. It's because you need to re-look at the moment as it is, without the name and the form and the function. You have practical people who, I don't know, they need to do something in the house and they find a creative way to do it. Did you ever see MacGyver? When I was young, I used to see that. You guys, yeah, Alex has seen it. MacGyver is, he invents things, like he gets in trouble and then he finds whatever things are around him and then he uses that and gets out. He figures things out. And we don't give children chance to be MacGyver. Do you know? Like, just, it doesn't have to be fixed. Don't tell them this is how it is. And then the mind says, especially those who are very fit, but Didi, don't you have to teach them things? Well, I promise you they're going to know. Apple, red. And then they never saw a green apple. And then a green apple comes. And mom says, apple. No. Yes, beta, it's another apple. No. I'm not eating it, but you love apples. No, because it's green. You insisted that it has red, apple, eat, store. You see?
In India, they have this term jugad, right? Where you just take something that doesn't fit and you make it fit,
That's
and
right.
it's a way of life.
Yes, and you have to give room for that. That's, yes, that's pragmatism, but also it gives you to a moment to look and say, okay, don't worry about it. Let's just do it like this. No? All right. 7:15. All good? Okay. Jai Gurudev. God bless. Jai Gurudev.